no rain, no sleet. Howie Roseman or the internet can stop big sales. Nothing. Contingency plans are always in place to make sure truth, justice, and the big sales way always works. But as we always start the program out, we start it with Big Sills. How you doing? Yes, obviously you guys see that we have a little bit of issues here when it comes to the internet and the show right now. But have no fear. We will get this bad puppy rocking and rolling. There were so many great storylines over the weekend. I first want to start it out by saying this. Welcome aboard. We are now in the air for the 2024 season. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. Okay? You're in the air now. You are in the air. We're going to find out what kind of football team you have and others have as we get ready for the exhibition season. First and foremost, I got to start this bad puppy out by saying this. That clown show known as the Olympics and the opening to that thing was disgusting. It just absolutely was disgusting. I don't know what you've done to the Olympic Games, but you have absolutely bastardized it. Okay? There's so many of my friends, too. Rowdy Gaines, Julie Foudy's calling the soccer. These are all friends of mine. So I kind of watch because I really love those guys. But to watch some of the Olympics, man, I mean, come on. You've turned that thing into a freak show. Seriously, I thought I was watching a drag show when the opening ceremonies happened. I thought I was watching a drag show. And so I'm sitting there going, man, just give me sports, please. And don't give me your stupid politics. But then again, thank you for the NFL, college football rocking and rolling right around the season. And I look forward to it. All right, guys. Hey, by the way, we appreciate you coming here. And by the way, James Jones, how you doing? I think your Washington Commanders, James. Everyone thinks, including Xander, thinks that I'm insane, but I'm still going. I'm still going with the Commanders winning the NFC East. All right. Hey, man, there's a lot of great storylines over the weekend, and Kellen Moore, most notably had his press conference on Saturday, and we're going to give you the Big Sills takeaways, plus some other of the players talking over the weekend. All good. Hey, James, I'm with you, brother. I'm totally with you. Totally with you. I think you're going to have a good season this year. This whole thing is going to be all coming around your quarterback. It's going to come down to Jaden Daniels and whether or not that guy's going to be the next coming of C.J. Stroud. And I completely agree with it. So, without further ado, what were your takeaways? And here, let me do this. The first week of Eagle training camp, and my takeaways, I think they addressed a lot of issues. I think there's a new vibe in the building. I believe that they're putting 2023 behind them. And I said this at the end of last week. I believe that you're going to see this football team try to put all the deficiencies that they had coaching-wise and player-wise and all the meltdowns that they had a year ago behind them. I really do. I think they're going to, and they're trying to do their best, and they're trying to put their best foot forward. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Let's get them likes up, man. A lot of motion. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. C24, 14-3. That I'm not going. And Super Bowl champions, not happening. Not yet, at least. I am encouraged by some of the comments that are being made. I am very encouraged. And I want to give you my takeaways from Kellen Moore and what I saw with Kellen Moore. I went back and watched that press conference, and I actually watched the press conference pretty much from start to finish. And here were some of the things, and I wrote down a bunch of stuff here that I took away from what he said and how he is trying to communicate with Jalen Hurts. Do I like Kellen Moore, and do I think it's going to be a good fit? We'll see. Still a work in progress. Okay, they put the pads on tomorrow. But here's some of the things I took away. Both Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens are going to split responsibilities in pass protection. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think that's essential. I don't think Cam Jurgens in any way is going to help Jalen Hurts in this process. I think Jalen Hurts is going to help the young Cam Jurgens as he gets acclimated and he gets an understanding of reading blitzes. You're going from right guard into a position where you're going on the hot stove right away. And to me, I think Hurts will be more beneficial to Cam Jurgens than Jurgens to Hurts. But I do think as he gets acclimated, I'm talking Cam, I do think as he gets acclimated, I think he's going to have more of an understanding. And I think there is going to be a process there as these two guys work together and communicate. I like what Kellen was saying. Hey, look, you two guys figure it out. Okay? You two guys figure it out. You figure it out, we're going to have success. Sam, hope you had a good weekend too, brother. He commented on Barkley. He said Barkley is going to be a week-to-week option. That, to me, taking away means great versatility that you're going to have now at the running back position that potentially you didn't have in the past. And what I mean by that is you're going to be more of a chameleon. Your offense is going to look a little bit like what Belichick's offense looked like with Josh McDaniels. 1 week you had a running back that was active, that got you 200 yards rushing. Appreciate it, Marshall. Let's effing go. Smash the like button. We're now here ready for some football. Way to go, Marshall. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. You know we're never not going to be here. I don't give a shit what the internet does. I don't care what it does, dude. Okay? Look at Dream. Hey, Dreamcatcher. Big takeaway. Competency. Okay. I like that. But what Barkley's going to give you guys, Barkley's going to give you the ability to be able to be a chameleon week in and week out. Okay? You're going to be able to do things that you haven't done in the past. 1 week, Barkley's going to be instrumental in the run game. 1 week, he's going to be instrumental in the pass game. So that's why when I said to you guys, 950 yards rushing, 450 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns rushing, and another 5 receiving, and I said to you, you really wouldn't want 105 yards in total offense from a guy each and every single game, not a receiver. His name is Barkley. King fan, appreciate it. Prince, how you doing, brother? You have coaching now. It surely seems it. So that's really great to hear that Kellen Moore is trying to figure out how to use this special tool that he has, known as Saquon Barkley. Where it's going to make Pickett look like Purdy. He could. I heard that Kenny Pickett is having an outstanding camp so far. Serianni's high school coach has the conditioning under control. 11, I heard that. And I thought that was okay. Okay, I did. I'll tell you what, if you have more of an emphasis on conditioning, I don't care who's telling you how to be conditioned. As long as you're conditioning your football players, that's a great thing. So when you hear him say high school, which didn't help him out, but when you hear the word conditioning, that's okay, man. Okay? That's okay. Coach Corey, Big Sale's only cussing with the Miami chain on now unless you super chat. I don't have the Miami chain around here with me, man. So, I mean, again, I liked it. Here's another takeaway. We're talking about moving around A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith more. And it's not necessarily going to be that they're not going to not be in the slot, but you can see that there's going to be a lot more motion. There's going to be a lot more movement. Barkley to be the weapon. Hey, Bob, reprint that there for me, will you please? I see how he sits with, yeah, I got it. We need conditioning as bad. Hello, Davis and Carter. We need them to both get on the juice and get serious. Charlie, we don't need him to get on the juice. Okay? We don't need him to get on the juice. But I like the fact that Kellen is going to try to put these guys in a position to succeed by moving them around. Alejandro, so you're streaming on your phone. Great commitment, my friend. Alejandro, you're here. Why wouldn't we be here? Xander and I were not going to have this show not go on today because some asshole in California didn't have the internet up or they're doing something stupid. Okay? We were not going to not go on. Sills would do anything to trash the Eagles. Hey, fuckback, where do you see me trashing the Eagles here? This guy's a dick, this C24. He thinks, I mean, honest to God, but I love you, dog. Way to be here every day and be committed, guy. Way to be committed to Big Sills. Thank you. Later. Have a great day. Don't need you. Wide receiver 3. He's not just going to be a slot guy. He's going to be a guy that is going to be moved around the same way the other guys. So actually what they're going to do is they're going to make him instrumental and they're going to make him part of the offensive attack. Actually, what they're going to try to do is get something out of that. 304. Hey, Xander, can you repost that for me too? What 304 just put up because I missed the super chat. I'd like to get that super chat there if I could too by 304 because I missed it. So we'll see if we can repost that there. I need to see Johnny Wilson win that wide receiver 3. Absolutely. Absolutely. 304, if you want to re-put it up there for me or repost it, go right ahead. I'll read it for you there. Jerry's had quite a week. And the Cowboys have had quite a week. And the owner's in court more than he is at training camp. Okay? But you're going to get something out of wide receiver number 3. They're going to actually make it part of the offensive attack. I like it. All good, man. Guy beat the hell out of Parsons yesterday. I love it. Hey, remember what I told you? Hey, 304. Micah Parsons is not a physical football player, my friend. He's a finesse guy. And you know what you might want to do? You might not want to put his hand in the dirt. You might want to keep him and stand him up. You know what I'm saying? Seals needs to pay his bills. Ain't me, man. I paid the damn cable this morning. Ain't me. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, 304. I appreciate that too. Running backs. This is my takeaways from Kellen Moore's press conference. Running backs. They have to be part of the passing game. About time. Okay? About time. Tight ends. Moore likes what he's got with Grant Calcaterra. You know, Grant Calcaterra has had an outstanding camp. And he has impressed people to the point where they really think highly of him. Big Sills, happy Football Monday, brother. Daniel, thank you so much, my friend. Moore's always used the running backs. Hey, Moore's going to use the running backs, wide receiver 3, and a 2 tight end set. That's one of the things that you could take away from the weekend. that there's going to be some utilization coming off those three people: running backs, tight end 2, wide receiver 3. That's great. Last year, his injury effed him up. I liked him coming to Philly. Hey, I didn't really think that he was a factor last year, but I think that he looks like he's had a heck of an off season, and they really like him. So, hey, guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys here. So that's great. Hey, they're liking the second tight end, and they're going to need him. A little bit more on my Kellen Moore takeaways. I wrote down a bunch of stuff here. Training camp has been an installation process. Today will be the final day of installation. And they're starting to put as much as they possibly can in, because tomorrow they put the pads on. Jalen, they're doing things, and they're going to be able to do things in the run game. And finding the right play that fits his skill set is going to be something that's going to be a work in progress. I love that. Here's what he's saying. We're not going to run him just to run him. We're going to run him and make it matter when he runs. So they're going to selectively pick plays that they're going to be designed. You know what I would say that reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of how they run Patrick Mahomes. I like it. 215. Big Sale's never denied, bro. You do whatever it takes. Then a little bit more. How you doing? Hurts is in command right now. And he looks smooth. As we said, Cam Jurgens and Hurts are going to team up in pass protection. And the offensive line has to communicate, which means this. They have to communicate up and down the line of scrimmage because Jason Kelce is no longer there. One of the takeaways that I had from Kellen Moore was the fact that the replacing of Jason Kelce from the cerebral side of it is going to be a monumental task. It is going to be a monumental task for them to be able to replace that guy's knowledge in the middle of the field. So they're going to have great communication up and down the line of scrimmage from tackle to tackle for them to be able to pick up blitzing. And by the way, the communication might end up helping everybody. Instead of having just one voice, you have everybody communicating. So I like it. I like that. Malata seems to be assuming his role and their leader, I think. I like that too, Alejandro. I do. I like that too. I just think a guy like Lamar with his running threat always alive is going to free up Henry, and I can't see how you stop it. I can't wait to see it. I agree, Charlie. I think anytime, because you have that threat of Lamar Jackson running the way that you do, there's no question about it, that is going to open up the passing lanes for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. That's so to the point and so true. He says Hurts seems a little bit more comfortable than he did in the OTAs and in minicamp. There's no question Jalen Hurts has been working on some of the deficiencies that he had in OTAs and minicamp, because it looks like he is really with a grasp now of what they're trying to do. Maybe it was just a communications thing. Maybe it was just an issue where they had and working on installments. Maybe they were doing that. So again, he seems to be more in control. It's a good thing. New apprentice in Baltimore. Okay. I think Baltimore is going to have a great season. Baldy says Hurts had clunky footwork last year. Yeah, because Jalen is not a pocket passer. His fundamentals are not very good in the pocket. Like, he drifts. He's not really a guy to get back in a 7-step and progressive read. He's clunky back there. But then again, At the end of the day, you can improve on that. Okay? Bo says, can't stand this dude. Then why are you here? It's like somebody going on my Twitter page. Nobody cares what you're saying. I don't care. It's my Twitter page. Why are you here? Surely there's some other suck-ass show you can go and wave your pom-poms to, dude. Sills, running Barkley more will allow them to run Hurts and counterpunch. Completely agree. Completely agree. Jalen's having a really good camp so far. Okay? They're going to get something out of wide receiver 3. You know, they only let Kellen Moore talk for 12 minutes. Okay? They're only letting him talk for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. But we took a lot of that. Terminology. He was asked the question where he learned his offensive approach from. And he said Mike McCarthy. He said learning from some of the quarterbacks that I've dealt with and plus him being a quarterback himself and being able to apply that. Can I tell you what this reminds me of? Tell me if you guys agree with me on this. Kellen Moore reminds me of kind of a younger Frank Reich. Guy was a former backup quarterback in the league, has turned into a coordinator. I mean, you see some of the same kind of approaches. They want to spread the ball around. Do you see that a little bit? That you're looking at a guy in Kellen Moore who kind of reminds you a little bit of a younger Frank Reich, where, you know, you're cutting your chops, you've moved around. Frank had like 9 or 10 different jobs. You know what I'm saying? He had like 9 or 10 different jobs before he ended up landing in Philadelphia, winning a Super Bowl. I mean, so the more experience that you get, and plus remember something about Frank. Frank backed up Boomer Esiason in college. Frank backed up Jim Kelly and Buffalo. He was a backup quarterback pretty much the entire career that he had in the NFL. Then he went on to be a coordinator. And so you kind of get a different perspective. And also, too, I would say this, that Doug Peterson was a backup quarterback. I think you get a different perspective when you get a look at the game as a backup quarterback. Okay? So, I mean, you know that most offensive coordinators were quarterbacks. You mean backup quarterbacks. You mean backup quarterbacks. What coordinator plays in today's NFL that was a starting quarterback in the NFL? Who? Doug wasn't successful as a quarterback. Frank was. Name me a quarterback that was a starting quarterback in the National Football League that's offensive coordinator now. A backup is a quarterback. Yeah, okay. Hey, guy, I asked you, name me one quarterback that was a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's an offensive coordinator right now. I told you that's why I made the comparison of Frank Reich, asshole. That is probably where you – just like, here, get this too. You ever wonder why most great managers in Major League Baseball are catchers? Because they see their only position that they see the game in front of them. They have the only view. They have the only view looking at it from the batter of every position player in baseball. They look out like the hitter looks out. So he knows defense. He knows starting pitching. That's why most of your great managers have been catchers. Okay? They've been catchers. I mean, right? Bruce Bochy, Joe Torre. Go down the list. Okay? I mean, most of them have been outstanding. Sills, backup quarterbacks understand the importance of having a deeper understanding of schemes. Hopefully more can – right. Sills, what's with the new look? Just temporary. Just temporary, maniac. Had to get the show off. It's a Monday. Kellen Moore is an upgrade over Nick and Brad from last year. Moore has seen a lot of defensive schemes, blitz packages, so we'll be able to adapt as necessary. Absolutely, man. I heard a stat about quarterbacks when facing blitzes. There were like 10 TDs. Big Sills. Let's see here. So let me continue here. He said Saquon's a special player, and he'll be essential in the attack. There's no doubt that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith will be used in the slot a lot. That's just emphasizing it again. Here's one thing, though, that I did take away that I didn't like. There was no comment in the 12-minute interview that he did with RPOs. There's no way RPOs are going to be involved in that offense whatsoever. So they're trying to come up with different ways of having Jalen Hurts run the ball. Folks, if you were hoping for RPOs, they're gone. They're gone for good. They're not running an RPO. Nobody asked the question, and he didn't expand on RPOs whatsoever. So the RPO that made him great in 22 is not part of the equation. 11, I don't know why. Well, you kind of know why. But the RPO, no, watch this. I-Tech's definitely not gone. Well, it's been no mention of it whatsoever, and they're not running it, and they're not installing it so far in practice. They have not. They've installed read option, but they have not installed one time. Not at all. The RPO. Maybe playoffs? Doubtful. The RPO fit Jalen's skill set and experience at that point in time. We don't know about Mitchell. We don't know what Mitchell is yet. No, we don't. We have to wait and see him get in a football game. Why do you think the RPO is somewhat buried in the playbook? They don't want to get the kid hurt. They're going to run double secret RPO. No, they're not. I think they're thinking then we should switch to Pickett now. No. Jalen's having a good camp. Why would you even contemplate something like that? Barkley needs to stay healthy. That's correct. Because if Barkley doesn't stay healthy, the RPO will be put back into the offense. Seals, Moore should be able to scheme, clear our areas and the defense. Sorry, guys, doing it off the phone. These things are really fast moving here. And I appreciate all you guys being here. So if I'm giving you kind of half sentences and half answers here, I'm trying to read them as fast as I possibly can. So I appreciate you guys' patience with us here. Thank you guys again. Small hand statement. How you doing? Yeah, no RPOs. So what do you guys make of this? So Nick pops his head in all these meetings. And, you know, he just pops his head into all the meetings. Take your time, old man. Thank you, handsome hustler. Thank you, man. Pickett plays good in camp and preseason, but sucks during the regular season. Jeff, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. Okay? You think the Eagles play their A1 team in preseason? I don't. No RPO, then why pay Jalen? Charlie, I think they're going to go and they're going to try to replace the RPO with Saquon Barkley. Chills, I'll buy you an iPad, bro. Jeez, this is unacceptable. Shut up, Prince. Stop being a bitch. Come on, man. Stop being a bitch. We need a nice quarterback with all this talent. Well, we'll see. I think Jalen's having a good camp, man. Let's see what he does when he gets in the first half of the season. Sills, max protect, go through progressions. Let's pick up. Can offset RPO. Okay. A lot of motion they said they're going to have. No question about it. Bootlegs, rollouts, play action from under center. They're going to get Jalen moving early, so he's not such an easy target back there in the pocket. Sam, I happen to agree with you on that. I hope Pickett plays well in the preseason and we get a second pick for him. That's a great take. Run Saquon and the option. Give me Russell Wilson for a year. Nick's telling the coaches what PowerPoints and tape should be included in the meetings, like an intern. I mean, so I don't think so. I mean, I got Nick Serianni takeaways too from this morning. I'm going to do that here in a second, and some of the things that I heard from him. But here, I'll tell you one thing also. I think the players are enjoying what's going on. Now, tomorrow they put the pads on, like we said. Jalen has been picking up the blitz in practice. Prince, you mean he's been recognizing it, correct? Right? We'll see if he picks it up when you're in game. We'll see if he's able to do that when the bullets are real, so to speak. I mean, it's one thing to sit there when you're going through 9-on-7 or 7-on-7, but we'll see when he's in that game against Green Bay and you've got complex defenses being thrown at him. And I would even say this: I think Cam Jurgens is the linchpin in this whole thing. If he struggles, you're in trouble. I don't think it's going to be Jalen. You put way more responsibility on him, which is not a horrible thing. Remember this here. You're paying this guy $51 million. Okay? You're paying him $51 million. He should have more responsibilities. If he can spread the ball around, absolutely. I trust in Kellen. That's what Prince says. Same options will change when it's full pads, full speed. It's true. Game tempo. I'll tell you what, I liked what Nick said. They're practicing tempo and game tempo, and that's a key to any good practice. And any good coach is that you're practicing game tempo all the time. I can't tell you guys, okay? I can't tell you guys how important that is for a coach to have a practice like that. I've showed up at many camps, and you see, like when you go to a Dallas Cowboy camp, they meander to the next drill. They don't really have an emphasis on getting to the next drill. Ace, hey, Sills, are you moving to be more optimistic, or do you still screaming where has the defense upgraded, or can Vic make lemonade out of lemons? 34 says, hey, Seals, are you moving to being more optimistic? Thank you very much, 304. Yeah, I want to be careful because I don't know what talent you have. I just don't know what talent you have on defense yet. But I like the structure of what you're doing. Here, 304, let me give you what I'm liking so far that I think is important as you move into pads and the important part of training camp and then into the exhibition games. You're doing a lot of the things that you need to do that are right, and starting with conditioning. You're conditioning your mind, your body. You're doing the right thing. You've got a coach that takes no shit on that side of the ball in Vic. He's going to play the best players. Kellen Moore is trying to figure out ways to take the RPO out of the offense by using Barkley and running Jalen in critical situations that are going to utilize his skill set. That is an integral thinking part of how they want to use the kid. It's a thought process that this thing has gone on. And by the way, Kellen's just not punching a time clock. You know, you've got to come up with, it's very Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't run the RPO unless he has to. He doesn't run the RPO unless he has, like he did in the Super Bowl. That's not something he's going to do. He'll run that. Okay? He'll run that when he needs to win or when when it calls for it. And I think that's what they're trying to do with Hurts. So am I moving towards being more optimistic? It's funny. I'm more optimistic because Nick has less influence. 304, does that make sense? I think I'm more optimistic about the Eagles because it has been a good thing that Nick's influence has been lessened. And I think you hear that, even in his own conversation. Right? I mean, you're hearing Kellen talk. By the way, I think that was by design. I think that was by design. They only had Serianni or Kellen Moore talk for 12 minutes. I don't think they want him up there for like 25 minutes or talking longer than Nick, because it would have the impression that he's got more say and more autonomy than what Serianni does, especially when it comes to controlling the offense. So to me, I think that was by design, not to give them a lot of Kellen. Everyone is saying that Rose's speed translates to routes. Nick's offense sucks. 2-5 in 2021. Last year, Brian ran it. I get it. 12 personnel, tempo, rollouts, motion. There's no RPO. They didn't have it. They're not even talking RPO, though. Nick's feelings will be hurt. I think it's more so than anything that they're trying to protect, because it's been very evident that the Eagles want to protect Serianni as much as they possibly can. Again, I want to go back to 304 and what he asked me. Are you more optimistic? I'm more optimistic they're doing the right things. Okay? I'm more optimistic they're doing the right things when it comes to preparing for pads tomorrow, what they're preparing for the training camps. So I like what they're doing. And is it more optimistic, 304? Yeah. It's better coaching already. You can feel it. You can feel it and see it. And you can hear it by the coaches. But I also think that that's got a lot to do with Nick and not having Nick with the influence. Kellen has better general understanding of how motion works, the breakdown of defenses. Agreed. Sam says because Nick will eventually have to start calling plays again. No. Nick's in the closet now. Keep him there. That's what Sam says. Sam, in a way, though, he's not in the closet. He's behaving himself. He is. He's behaving himself. Jet sweep RPO, baby. Okay. They didn't mention that they were going to run it this year. So you're telling me this year is a wash? I'm not saying no. You have to get out there. Hey, we have to see the first month of the season. We have to see the first month of the season. He's staying in the playpen? Maybe a little bit. Forrest goes, Nick has an ankle bracelet on. Pretty funny, man. Big Dom keeping him in line. Nick is like Vermeil with the Rams. Mike Martz ran the offense. Okay, a little bit there. I see that. Big picking. I got you there a little bit. I see that. Okay. Corey says, Big Sills, LF&G, baby. I'm with you, man. Nick's the receptionist. Well, let me give you some of my takeaways on Serianni. Let's do Nick. Nick says he floats around all the rooms and sticks his head in. Is that a good or bad thing? It could become a good thing. Let's come from that angle. If he's not in a way and he walks in just to see what the coaches are doing, whether it's a defensive back coach or a linebacker coach or a coordinator, and he's walking in and he's not in the way, that's what really a CEO coach does. Coach Johnson would never walk into a team meeting and say something, or into a position meeting, or into a group meeting like OC or DC. He would never say anything. Tom Landry, too. Maybe on defense a little bit, Coach Landry would. But those guys never really spoke during position meetings or during like defensive or offensive meetings. They were there to observe, and they wanted to hear what the coaches were trying to install. They wanted to hear player feedback, and that's kind of what he would do. But then when they got to their coaches' meetings, Jimmy would have a notepad, and he would bring out everything that he heard, and he would want something addressed or not addressed. So there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're getting the results that you need. Hey, Seals, I'm a new subscriber. Go Eagles. Red wins. A red wine. Thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that, brother, especially today since we're kind of making sure we get the show off the ground. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Prince, Jordan Davis has a new coach, and he's excelling in practice. Disrupting plays, coaching matters, Sills. How he messed up last year with the staff. Thank you, Prince. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, they did. And there's no doubt that Clint Hurtt has been an upgrade from Tracy Rocker. And not that Tracy Rocker is a bad coach, because he is not, Prince. But Clint Hurtt has been an upgrade to the defensive line. We shall see if Jordan Davis, once they get the pads on, is going to be as disruptive as he possibly can be. Okay? Davis is back where he belongs, over the center. If you remember 215, I said the one thing that I would like to see is have him at the nose, because it could rejuvenate his entire career as an Eagle into being the disruptor that he possibly can be. Yeah, let's see how that plays out. But again, guys, let's not get crazy here. They haven't even been in pads yet. You don't really know what you have yet. Serianni said that because of the injury, here's a critical injury here. So Tyler Steen's out. Am I the only one who has a bad feeling about this Brazil game, week 1? Hey, Dartmouth, I think you're losing that game. I still think you're losing that game. I don't think you'll be ready for that game. I think the best part of your season is going to be at the back 8 of the season this year. I think you'll be playing your best ball by week 10 or 8. You're not going to be playing your best ball out of the gate. I don't believe you will be. I think there's too much to install. I think that there's too much to have happen. I personally think you're 0-1. Okay? It's an L. Yeah, Tyler Steen is injured. Mekhi Becton's going to get some reps over at right guard. So that's critical. So now you've lost Cooper DeJean for a little bit, and now you've lost Tyler Steen. One of the positions that you're looking at that you're going to need a lot of help, and you haven't been able to replace Isaac Seumalo since Isaac Seumalo left the right guard spot. You think we're losing to Green Bay and Brazil? I do. I do think you're losing that game. Still, I'm hopeful that Moore has the ability to implement just some of the RPO. If he can use it, hurts its growing pains early in the season. That would help. It totally would help if you instituted, Bob, the RPOs early, but nobody asked the question if the RPOs were going to be put in, and he hasn't addressed it to where they're not even practicing RPOs. Chills, do you think it's realistic that Bradbury could excel at safety? Woodson did it at the end of his career. We're going to get to some of the comments by the players. Chills, what's going on with Trevor Keegan? I think he's a slow developing guy. All right, I do. Okay, I think he's a slow developing guy, and that's why they're going to put Mekhi Becton over there. This team has way too much firepower to run support to be good safety. Sills, has a team ever replaced both coordinators? I'm trying to think. That's a great call. Have they ever replaced 2 coordinators and went to the Super Bowl? No. No. Think about that. It's a great take. Replacing both coordinators 2 years in a row. You think you're going to a Super Bowl? Name me a team that's ever done that. Now, could you make history? We'll see. New ways to get to plays. This is a Nick Serianni comment. Flexing, fans are delusional. Yeah, they are. And so are some analysts. Think about that, Flexing. You can't name an NFL history where new coordinators on both sides of the football were put into their football coaching staffs and they went on to win a Super Bowl in the same year. It just doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. In the Super Bowl era, it's never happened. Delusional versus realistic. Well, how about reality? That's never happened. Okay? Fans got to get real. That's why I say, Flexing, you're going to be really good next year. You're gonna be really good next year, in my opinion. Okay? So after Moore spoke about Saquon in motion in the offense, why is John McMullen against it? I don't know why John McMullen has this argument with Xander every day about motion. And it's actually no disrespect, and I don't mean this as a negative to John, but I don't know what John's talking about, actually. Anytime you use motion and you're a defensive football player and your linebackers and safeties are back there, automatically you have to move to motion, which moves the strength of your defense. Because if the strength of your offense, because you know what's going to happen? Here, let me give you a little bit why I don't get John's. He talks about the end result of the play. I'm talking about setting up the play to have success. And I think that's where Xander's coming from. To give your play the best chance of success, they use motion. Yeah, John's like this. Well, if the play works, motion worked. No, that's not how that works. You're trying to give your play the best opportunity with mismatches and open lanes for the play to work. Now, let me show you something here. So if I'm an offense and I'm the linebacker or the safety, and I'm watching, and I see motion go, and you go to a strong side over here, and you change the strength of your offense. If I don't go to that and move and slide, they're going to run the play over there and have a mismatch with more men versus you're going to have 5 versus 4. That's just based off motion. You can't not go to that, and you cannot adjust to that. Because every time you don't adjust to it, the strength changes. So prior to the play, you're giving yourself an advantage of having more men versus less men. That's pre-snap motion. That helps you have mismatches. How is that not setting up a play for success? Now, does the guy have to catch the ball? Yes. But what you're doing is you're moving people around for passing lanes. When I move the free and strong safety around, pre-snap, I'm giving the play the better chance of success. I think that's exactly what Xander's talking about when he's having these arguments with John. John doesn't grasp that. Dude, nobody's saying the play's going to be successful, but the chances of it being more successful, 95%, is going to be 95% more. Why? Mismatches. If I put A.J. Brown in motion and put him in the slot, and he's got to go against the safety, is that not an advantage? Pre-snap, he's going against lesser people, and he's going against a slower dude. I don't get what he's saying. He thinks he knows that, and he don't. He has no idea what he's talking about with that. Okay, I mean, has no idea. Here's another one. If fucking motion didn't work, why do coaches and coordinators use it? I'm not trying to confuse my own guys. It makes no sense. It just every time I hear it, I'm like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he has no idea what he's talking about when he says that. Okay, I mean, here's a question: did none of Jalen's former coaches understand the role of motion, or was he just not comfortable using it? I think probably both. Probably both. They tried to. Hey, one of the things that you had, does it make sense? Brian Johnson was a first-year coordinator, and he had a simplistic offensive attack. Well, okay. Is that out of the realm of reasoning that you wouldn't have a lot of things that would confuse the quarterback when he was already confused on picking up blitzes? Hey, by the way, you struggled picking blitzes up with Jason Kelce. You really think that's going to improve this year? How? Give me one reason that you think Hurts in the blitz pickup will be better this year when you struggled with Jason Kelce in the offensive line. What's your, because Kellen Moore's your OC? That's a quarterback, offensive line, center identification. Okay, I mean, where in the world do you see that getting better when you lose a guy like Kelce? Okay, hot routes. Jalen Barkley back there to help block. Yeah, he's a great pass pro guy. Absolutely. Something else. As I said, pads on tomorrow. He was asked a question about Bradbury. And once again, I don't know what's going on here. Hey, I really love seeing Bradbury get the corner work, but I also like what he's doing back there with the opportunity to play safety. He's going to get an opportunity, and he has the skill set and knowledge to be able to play it. Somebody asked a question earlier, and I'll say it one more time to you. The chances of Bradbury playing safety in the National Football League is 1 billion to 1. It's 1 billion to 1. The chances of him being able to play safety. Like Vic said, that doesn't happen. You don't see that transition. When Kellen Moore was the OC for Dak and Justin, their win rate against the blitz was up. Okay? Because they got the ball out of the hands quicker. Okay? Because they got the ball out of the hands. Absolutely. Yeah, 11-7. When you're talking about Rod Woodson and Ronnie Lott, those are Hall of Fame players. Bradbury ain't no Hall of Fame player. He's a good player, but he's not a Hall of Fame player. Some comments made by some of the players. I'll tell you what, man, listening to Avonte Maddox, he's a smart player. I see why the Eagles like him. I do. I see why they like him. He's a team concept guy. He said he'll play any position they need. I like him. He's dealing with the rookies. They ask questions. I help them. It's a good competitive room. I like him. I do. I mean, I really like him. I heard him speaking, and I was like, wow, man, I see why people like the kid. I hope he can play. You know what he said, too, about the offense? He goes, it's going to be very interesting to see because they're using a ton of motion, and they're moving people all around on that offense, and it's going to be something special to watch. And I like that. He's like this. His observation is that the offense is doing a lot of new looks this year, and they're going to be able to be very difficult to defend because of all the new things that they're doing, which is great. So I like it. I really hope this kid can play. He says it's great working with a guy like Vic Fangio because Vic Fangio is going to put you in a position that you're going to succeed, and it's really going to be all basically up to the players. I like it. Yeah, Steve, I don't get why John fights Xander on that motion stuff. I mean, you ever watch the 49ers? Hey, Niner all day. You in here? You ever watch the 49ers? Man, they're running jet sweeps. They're running motion. They're trying to free guys up every single play. They'll do dual motion. They'll put the tight end and they'll put a wide receiver in motion as well. I mean, I don't get guys like Kyle Shanahan and guys like Sean McVay use that to get guys open. Miami had the second best offense, and he's not going to get any better. Hey, Niner all day, right? Niner all day. Kyle Shanahan, he uses motion like all the time. I mean, to get Kittle open or to get Christian McCaffrey open. Just, I don't see it. I heard Nakobe Dean talking. And Nakobe Dean, I didn't realize this about Nakobe Dean, that he wasn't cleared to be able to go into practice and start practicing and preparing until the final week of minicamp. This guy's missed a shit ton of football. I mean, he missed all the OTAs. He pretty much missed the entire minicamp. And now he's just been cleared. And so he's preparing the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks, 6 weeks to get ready for training camp. I don't see it. When he said that, yeah, I haven't been cleared since the last week of minicamp. I heard him say that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's had no offseason. He's just been dealing with injuries his entire time since he's been in the league. I really don't know how good he is. I just know this. That guy cannot stay healthy. And I would never build my expectations in my linebacking room around that guy whatsoever. I don't give a shit what people think of him. I don't give a shit what round he got in. I would rather take a bum off the street that's going to give me 17 weeks than a kid who can't stay healthy at all. I mean, that guy cannot stay healthy just at all. I mean, yeah, and some of the shit he was saying, he loved competing with Devin White. How are you competing with Devin White when you haven't been healthy? I don't know. He's like, I don't know why. I get it. I think it's a waste of time. I do. I think it's a waste of time to have him out there. Prepare somebody else. It's like telling me, let's put Bradbury at safety. Why? Let's start working some of the younger guys. Make more sense to me than putting a guy back there that has no chance of playing safety at all in the NFL. Again, just a few of the takeaways that I didn't like was Bradbury playing on the Philadelphia Eagles makes no sense. Except that they may not believe what the young guys are yet. And they want to wait and see who they are. And this Dean experiment, dude, this is like Trey Lance shit. And Niner all day can tell you. The 49ers had to come to a painful conclusion that Trey Lance stunk. And that, you know how hard that was? Hey, Niner all day. Do you know how absolutely impossible that must have been for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to move off that guy? You know how hard that must have been? Giving up 3 number ones? And you just moved off that dude? And you were like, hey, I mean, he's just not good. Then they dealt him. right? Then they just dealt him. Nakobe Dean, I don't know why they have him out there. Forrest Hill, 49ers wasted 3 number ones. They sure did, man. They sure did. Nolan Smith is right there. Nolan Smith is next. Okay? Huge investment for San Francisco, but picking, they got it covered because of Purdy. Bond goes, hey, listen, they got lucky because of Purdy. Shanahan can make a lot of quarterbacks look great. He surely can. Okay? They surely can. Keely Ringo's first one up there at the cornerback spot. We'll see. How many Super Bowls Kyle Shanahan won using motion, clowns? 0-3. How many Super Bowls have you won? 1? You got nobody that's on the coaching staff that was at all involved with it except for Stoutland. Think about that. Your entire coaching staff that you had from the 2017 Super Bowl, only 1 guy's in the building. Okay, I mean, who are you kidding here? All right. Do me a favor, guys. We're going to take a look at some of the position battles that are going on in camp as well. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.